from Pete Como, who's Managing Director for Phocuswright.
Good evening, Singapore and APAC region. Here at Phocuswright, we have been keeping busy building and revising models and analyzing anticipated recovery rates for different markets around the world. For our first session of Stats and Stuff, I will share 5 charts in 5 minutes to give you a sense of how we see recovery in a couple of key Asian markets, and then we will follow the theme of the first WiT Roadshow and zero in on airline data to get a feel for search and destination trends across key Asia-Pacific markets. So let's jump right into the biggest market in the region and the world's second largest travel market. The China travel market experienced torrid growth during the first decade of the 21st century, and while it slowed a bit in the next 10 years, it still grew by 1.5 times in the half-decade from 2014 to 2019. Increasing internationalization has characterized the Chinese market for the past several years as inbound visits and outbound trips surged. Provinces have also invested in air infrastructure, and even low-cost carriers have beefed up their international networks. The country also has one of the world's most robust domestic travel markets, which has allowed it to remain relatively healthy as COVID-19 has severely limited global international trips. China's travel market contracted by 53% in 2020. Our baseline scenario assumes that domestic travel demand in 2021 will approach 2019 levels, enabling 54% growth that would push total travel bookings to $127 billion. Caution among travelers, as well as the government's urging travelers to stay close to home during peak travel seasons, are expected to hamper travel internationally, both inbound and outbound. So that will struggle with restrictions through most of the forecasted period. Under the most optimistic scenarios, China will exceed 2019 travel bookings by 2023. Under the least optimistic, it will take until 2024. While Australia and New Zealand have done quite well managing to keep COVID cases contained, the strategy had a huge impact on tourism, which is one of Australia and New Zealand's largest service exports. International borders have remained closed since March of 2020. Australia has also restricted its people from leaving the country, another example of the nation's aggressive measures to get rid of the virus. The pandemic has dramatically altered people's shopping habits. Many resorted to online shopping due to stay-at-home orders. This trend has also benefited online travel distribution channels. Online penetration gained 6 percentage points in 2020. The online market dropped less than the total travel market in 2020 and is expected to recover faster in 2021 and 2022. We see this trend occurring in other markets across the region as well as globally. Drilling down into the airline segment, we see some interesting trends that give us a bit of insight into the nature of market recovery within key countries in Asia Pacific and the Middle East. On this chart, the light shaded bars are domestic flight searches and the dark shades are international searches. All markets are heavily skewed toward domestic searches in the near term, with more international searches as we look out a few months. Australians and Japanese travelers are more eager to journey or at least search for international destinations, while Indians plan to stick with traveling domestically. All flight searches for UAE are for cross-border routes, as domestic travel options are few in this tiny country. As we shift to a look at what destination travelers are searching for from various search markets, more than 4 in 5 top search destinations were the same in all countries in 2019 and 2020. But travelers' changing priorities and a quest for safe and hassle-free travel have led to a change in countries' rankings in 2021. Japanese and Australian travelers intend to travel to destinations within the Asia-Pacific region. The U.S. is the only country outside the area appearing in the top 5. Our last chart is a look at the detail on Japan. Regional international markets continue to dominate, although the U.S. has maintained its position in the 3rd spot in terms of most searched for international destination. If you are interested in drilling into the detail of this airline search data, we have made the Global Air Trends report series free of charge on Phocuswright.com. So in summary, travel rebound in the region will occur by 2023 or 2024 when APAC markets should reach pre-pandemic levels of travel. Online channels have fared better than other channels. And on the airline side, domestic is leading the way in the near term, but there is desire to search for international destinations, even though current restrictions prevent much of this international travel from happening.